Welcome back to episode 2 of a little Mix It special. In the previous episode, we already talked about how we placed all the mics and recorded all the signals. Today we'll talk about mixing the drum set and the bass guitar.
It gives you yet another reason to give it everything you have and leaves you want.
Bass and drums for my favorite season, the track we recorded with T.bone. So let's have a look. These are the drums as they came in. I already did some leveling, and as you can see, there's a few gain plugins here which are just like flipping the phase on certain signals. Okay, starting out with the ribbon mono overhead mic. I like to do that because we had this like ribbon mic sitting right above the snare, pretty close, and it already gives us like a nice overall kit sound. So we really can work from there and add in everything that's missing, like a bit of weight from the close mics, a bit of width from the overheads. But basically on this mic everything's there already. So starting out with just the gain plugin, as I said, flipping the phase, some EQ. This is a console style EQ, cutting a bit mid-range, doing a bit drive, a bit high shelf, and yet some Pro Q, just notching out some resonances. We had like some resonance in the room apparently. These are just like different overtones of the same note. Boosted the snare drum fundamental, some low cut, and that's it. And that's already like a decent sound, as you can hear. Everything is there, cymbals are nice and present, kick and snare, basic, fairly balanced. Speaking of which, let's add in the kick drum. This is the kick drum on its own. There we go. Added some gate there. We have an in mic and an out mic, which are summed together in this bass drum bus. The gate just cuts away all the other instruments. And we have some decapitator, just a bit of saturation and like oomph. Another Pro Q, just like pronouncing or like highlighting the fundamental frequency of the drum and giving me a bit less of this boxy 200, 300 hertz range, and some more saturation from the double lock there. It almost sounds like a sample. Great. Okay, snare drum bus is basically the same processing, of course different parameters, but the same plugins. We have a gate, so we only have the snare drum and bass drum hits there, some decapitator saturation here. Also in parallel it's on punish mode, so it's like distorting heavily. If you just mix in a bit of that, it's a nice thing. Some more Pro Q, same thing, boosting fundamental, some suppression of the overtones here, low cut, some presence, and some more double lock. We have this send. This is just a room. We'll get to that later. Okay, when we add this in with the mono overhead, it's a great sound already. We have a hi-hat close mic, add that in. I edited this so it's only playing when the hi-hat is played. Some EQ on there just to isolate really the top end, the band where the hi-hat is happening. Some soothe to make it less harsh. Tom mic is same approach as the other mics. Just a close mic, some flipping phase here, saturation, more saturation, and EQ. Yeah, so that's if you ask me, a great kit sound. It's mono though, so we add the overheads for like stereo width. 2 pairs of overheads, one AB, it's this one, just tiny things here. Some soothe, clearing out this resonance from the cymbal there, some Pro Q, nothing crazy as you can see. The other one is it's like a front side technique, getting decent amount of distortion there and some EQ. Add those in to the mono overhead. Add in the close mics. There we go. Great sound. Lastly, we have a shaker. There's nothing on there, just an EQ. And that's the kit sound. So if you have a look at the drum bus, there's 2 stages of compression, an API 2500 in parallel, just a few dB of gain reduction there. One very mu compressor giving us the thick, gluey type of sound. It's a bit slower than the first one, also in parallel. Some devil lock, a bit more dirt there. Some soothe, like less harshness on the cymbals. Overall EQ, some tiny moves there, and a pull tech. A bit more kick drum with definition on the high end. 4 cents, 2 rooms for snare and tom, 1 chamber. I'll isolate that for you. It's a longer chamber with quite an amount of pre-delay. So yeah, so it's nice and behind. And yet some parallel compression there. 1176 getting really squashed. But if you add in a bit of that, it just gives you a nice energy. And yeah, that's the entire drum kit sound. Let's have a look at the bass. Bass sounds like this. This is the amp mic, SCT 800. Didn't do anything on the channel. Added in a bit of DI. DI sounds like this. I compressed the DI a bit because we didn't compress it on the way in. On the bass bus we have an LA2A. Just doing a few dB. Oh, this 11.6 still open. Some EQ. Just taking a bit of the boxy quality away here. Bit more presence. Low cut, high cut, and like some fiddling with the kick drum fundamentals. Pull tech. Same thing as on the drum bus. Just to like really get a good combination of the bass and the kick drum going. The room for the bass, just put it in context and in like one room with the drum kit. And yeah, that's the entire processing for drums and bass for this track. Hope you like it.